All right, guys. Well, now it's readily apparent that the condo and townhome market across the state of Florida is an absolute disaster. I just got the latest numbers from the Florida Association of Realtors. These are February 2025's numbers. That's the newest ones they have out, and they are abysmal across the board. Really just, I mean, I feel like I've made this video several times over the past year, but it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Take Charlotte County, for instance, where I am today. 14 months supply of inventory for condos and townhomes. And that's going by the Florida Realtors metrics. They measure it a little differently than it has traditionally been measured. So I got to figure on the MLS, that's like 18 months. Oh, it's, I mean, Sarasota County not doing much better. We're going to get into all that, look at the state as a whole, kind of talk about what's happening on the ground here today. I'm in Deep Creek in Charlotte County currently. You guys had asked me to kind of let you know where I am. I didn't mention it on the previous video, and so that's where I'll be walking through here today. Also, as a subscriber reminded me, I should ask you guys, if you find this content entertaining or valuable, to please like, share, subscribe at the beginning of the video. Normally I do it at the end, and they're saying there's not enough time to like, share, or subscribe. It just goes to the next video. So yeah, I want to kick it off with condos and townhomes statewide. You know, as I'm these numbers are crazy, guys. Total sales in the state of Florida for condos and townhomes are down 13% year over year. There is 9.7 months of inventory in the state. Average sales price is actually holding on, up 0.8%, with listings up 36% year over year. And even in Charlotte County, which is going to blow you guys away, where we have those 14 months of inventory, I just got into 2 bidding wars on condo units here, which stuff that's been on the market for quite some time. So I feel like I'm in the twilight zone when I'm reading Charlotte County's condo and townhome prices are down 17% year over year from the previous year. Yet I just got into 2 bidding wars in the same complex on condos. So it's a really strange time right now. And I honestly don't know what to make of it. 14 months of supply in Charlotte County. Single family following suit here too, guys. We're up to 9 months of inventory for single family homes in Charlotte County. We just shot over 4,000 homes listed. Sarasota is starting to swing in the same direction. Sarasota's single family homes are starting to edge into a buyer's market. They have 6 months of inventory, but this is a condo and townhome video. I will cover that in a separate video. We'll go into all those numbers as well. But shocking to me, guys. We have over 1,100 condos and townhomes listed now in Charlotte County. Sarasota, like I said, doing better, certainly doing better, but they're not too far behind. So Sarasota County, their sales of condos and townhomes are down 12% year over year. Their average price is down 21% since last February. Now, you guys will know I have to put an asterisk there because Sarasota County's average prices will swing wildly sometimes. We had a couple of really, really expensive condos sell on the beach up in Siesta Key a few months ago. It threw their average sales price up 100% year over year. So, 21% down, it could just be a fluke, could be an anomaly, but that's a big number. Their months of supply, however, matching the state as a whole, they have 9.1 months supply of inventory currently in Sarasota County for condos and townhomes. Again, more on that in another video because their single family home inventory is ballooning as well. Those prices are holding up, much less so in Charlotte County. I didn't look into Lee yet, but we're going to take a look at that. Since I know people are going to ask, I also pulled Tampa, St. Pete area MSA there to kind of go over that really quick, what they're seeing in the condo and townhome market. So if you guys have been watching me for any period of time, you know Tampa, St. Pete has kind of been holding really, really strong. They're still doing okay in their single family inventory, but the condo and townhomes have now exploded up there as well. Their sales are down 10% year over year. Prices have barely declined though, but they just hit 6 months of inventory for condos and townhomes, and that is when you're really going to start seeing things turn around. Now, if some of that's not absorbed over the next several months, that area could slide into a heavy buyer's market. And again, guys, I look at the entire MSA, the whole MSA. If you dive into each individual area, it's going to be different. So For instance, here in Charlotte County, 14 months of inventory, major price declines, but I got in bidding wars in one complex, 2 units in the same complex. So you have to really dive down into things. It's not a one-to-one indication on what's going on in the micro markets, but as a whole, it's a good indicator. And like I said, very, very surprised to get smacked with more bidding wars, because as you guys know, if you've been watching the channel in the past couple of weeks, I've been getting into bidding wars on single family homes as well. Really aggressively priced stuff. It seems to be the more specialized, I've said this before too, the more specialized you get in the property you're looking for, well, a lot of people usually desire the things that you desire, and that's when things can get very competitive, when you get honed in on one specific complex or one specific community and there's not a lot of inventory in there. These are the kind of things that happen. I also think we're coming really to the end. I guess I'd call it like we're halftime. We're at halftime for our spring selling season now, maybe a little after. Maybe we're in the third quarter, and people who have not secured something yet are getting worried and they're just rushing and grabbing what they can. So it's a very, very interesting time down here when I can tell you we have basically all the recipe and signs of a condo townhome crash across the state and these areas, and then boom, you can still get caught in a bidding war, which might catch a lot of people off guard, because it did me. Now, it might not just surprise you guys to hear there's bidding wars in condos, but even that anybody's buying them. You know, a lot of the media portrays condos and townhomes here as like the plague and no one wants them. And obviously a lot less people do, because we have so much inventory and it's building up so much. But there is still a demand at the proper price for people. And the demand, the people who are looking, they want to know generally, okay, if I buy one of these units, I want it at a price where I feel I'm compensated for the risk that I'm taking on, because it is risky now. You know, a lot, especially with these older units, even if they pass their milestone inspections and their reserves are good, it doesn't mean something's not going to happen a month later. You never know. Hurricane season's around the corner, guys. You know what I mean? Could be some, I hate to say that, but you got to be realistic. We had 3 really bad hurricanes come through here in the past several years. It doesn't mean there won't be a 4th one. So, and all the fees are up. I mean, the fees are just through the roof on some of these places, most of it due to their insurance bills. So you've got to factor that in when you're making offers or when you're listing. Now, some people don't care. Some people do not care. They don't pay attention to that stuff. I cannot tell you the amount of horror stories I've heard of people purchasing in an HOA or a condo, or even Deep Creek here. Deep Creek is a deed restricted community, guys. There's things you're not allowed to do here. People don't pay attention to that. They buy the property, and then after the fact, they turn around and go, what do you mean I can't put this plant here? Or what do you mean the HOA is going up $300? It's, you know, you'd rather, unfortunately, that's how a lot of people operate. You'd rather get ahead of it, find all the stuff out that you can up front, than have to deal with it later, in my opinion. And like I've mentioned before, some people love HOAs, some people cannot stand them. An interesting story that I saw out of California for an HOA, and I'll try to link this if I can find the article, is they passed a rule that when everyone left in the morning, like between 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., everyone had to have their garage door left open. And I was like, what would that, why? that's insanity. And apparently they thought that residents were renting out garages on the side and letting people live in them. So that was their solution. Everybody has to open their garage door before they leave for work or leave for the day, or you get a fine. It's crazy, crazy. So when you hear stuff like that, yeah, it's not hard to see why people have a problem with homeowners associations. And you got to know that going in. These are the kind of things that can change. I mean, even if you're buying new construction, if you're buying in a new community, eventually the people are going to, eventually the homeowners are going to take over the HOA. And if you're not involved, you may get a notice in the mail that things are changing drastically and you had no idea. You may get a notice you have to open your garage door in the middle of the day every day now. That's the kind of stuff that can happen. So I always say, do your due diligence on associations. You know, try to get on their social media pages, obviously read all their governing documents and their budgets and things the best you can. But yeah, you know, it's a buyer beware situation, but I just wish more people would be a little more proactive in it. I think it would avoid a lot of the problems and complaints that we get from HOAs. In a broader sign of the market down here, there are classes being offered now to agents entitled How to Confidently Challenge an Appraisal. And I thought that was kind of funny. I've had to challenge appraisals before in a rising market. In the falling market, it's a little different. The fact that that exists is very odd to me because it's an appraiser's job is to appraise properties all day. I can do a market analysis. Agents can do a market analysis and we can get pretty close, but it's not anywhere near the detail that an appraiser is going to do. They can tell you exactly what it's going to cost you to rebuild this house. I generally am not capable of doing that. I can tell you based on the market what I think it's worth. So just the fact that there has to be a class offered to say, hey, here's how you can challenge these things a little more effectively is a big sign of the times here. Well, also, it's data. You have the data to support the price or you don't. That's it. And an appraisal, guys, is still an opinion of value. So at the end of the day, you can get wild shifts in what one appraiser feels a house is worth as compared to another. So it's almost subjective sometimes, but I just thought that made me giggle to see, oh, we're teaching these classes now, like, come on. And if an appraisal comes in light, guys, you really have two choices. One, again, you can challenge it. Most of the time, probably not gonna win. Or you can adjust the price to what it was appraised at. Now, the interesting thing is with certain appraisals like FHA, that appraisal will stay with that property for several months. So if you were to do an FHA appraisal, it came in under ask, and then you were like, well, I'm not paying what we originally agreed on because the home appraised for less, and the FHA buyer left that deal. If another FHA buyer comes to buy that house within a certain period of time, that appraisal sticks. A lot of people don't know that. So at that point, in that situation, it behooves the seller, in my opinion, to negotiate. I don't think anyone is gonna waive an appraisal right now unless you've got just the most killer property on the planet. I still don't know if anyone's gonna do it. It's like asking people to waive inspections. I think for now, those days are gone. I hope they never return. I won't say with confidence that they won't because I would have never thought the first time what happened would have happened. I thought it was disgusting. I still think it's disgusting. And you guys know I listed a lot of properties during that time. Didn't work with any buyers. And did that hurt my bottom line? Absolutely. But I couldn't take people to homes and tell them to bid over ask or buy sight unseen or waive inspections. I don't know, I just couldn't do it. So I am proud to say I never had to do that. Now, did I list houses where people did that to get it? Absolutely. That's the seller's decision, whose offer they want to take. I can only present and negotiate. So, but yeah, I really hope that never happens again. I think we're insulated from that for a few years here as we have so many listings. But I know it's still going on in other places. And it's tough. If you like the Northeast, if you need a house and market's tight, what are you gonna do? I kind of try to see both sides of it. I don't know. I didn't want to be involved in it. And if it happens again, probably won't be involved in it again. You know, the big push around here by agents now is knowing the market, knowing the data. You gotta be on top of everything. And it's like, when did you not have to? Shouldn't that have always been your objective? So I find it weird that now, oh, more than ever, you gotta be in tune with everything on the ground. Like, well, what were you doing before? Now I know, I'm extreme. I'm on the MLS every morning. I look at all the new listings. I look at all the solds. I'm overkill. I get it. I have a channel dedicated to data. It's too much, but this is our job, is it not? So it kind of shocks me to see now people are coming to that realization. And I mean, some of the things, I don't know if this is marketing, if they consider this marketing, but I'll see agents post on the internet, oh, you don't want to buy a house at 7% interest rates? Pfft, well, you'll buy a car at 8.5. You'll have a credit card at 23%. So, like, what are you trying to do? Trying to shame people into purchasing the biggest investment of their life? You're trying to tell them because they'll spend 8.5% on a $30,000, $40,000 loan or 23% on maybe a couple thousand on a credit card that they should drop overpay and pay 7% on a house that they're not sure they can afford. Like, what is the purpose of that? That stuff drives me crazy. I really, you know, sorry if I offend you if you do that. I mean, I think it's very disingenuous. You can't compare these things. Again, I've said it many times. It's like the people who say, I bought a house with an 18% interest rate in 1990. You did. I get it. If I could pay what you paid for that house, I'd take a 20% interest rate. Let's do it. Because by the price, I'll probably have it paid off in a few years. So I don't know. I just, that stuff kind of irks me sometimes. Well, guys, I know I asked already, but here it is at the end of the video. If you like this video, please give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.